Yes, Mr. Chris.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are yourself?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Nice to see you again.
It's been a while.
And,
Wow. Not a while because I see you regularly, but it's a while since we've had a sit down conversation.
Yeah, definitely. Because I've been trying to you've been busy.
I've been busy, yeah.
Definitely bringing you to the platform again is a gracious one.
Yeah, and the platform's all changed because last time we weren't in an environment like this, so
Yeah, that's what we've been, doing and trying to bring the level of the platform up and then upgrade everything. Yeah. So, have you been? How is life treating you? I know there's a statement that I saw lately, and it's just like for men, you need to check on each other, most especially with everything that is going on. Mentally, financially. So how you been?
It's interesting because when people usually ask that question, the standard response is, I'm okay.
Yeah, okay.
I'm fine.
I'm good.
And you find like most people say that. I think men or women, maybe less so women, but men are like, I'm okay. But even if they're not feeling so fine, that's the standard response, isn't it? And I think in response to your question, how am I doing? I mean, it's a mixed bag. There's a lot going on at the moment. But I think the important thing is, for me, is am I capable? Am I capable of continuing to navigate myself through these situations? Yeah, because there's some times that are going to be hard.
Yeah, definitely.
So I feel like I'm doing okay. Some things could be better, some things are going well.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing is the mental, psychological health, spiritual health, physical health, and you constantly work at those things. So, I constantly try to work at those things. So some days are better than others, but today, as you see me, I'm doing well. I'm thankful to be, here in your presence. So yeah. And yourself?
Yeah, good. I think one thing that have stuck with me recently is that this quote from E.T. is, you will only lose if you quit.
You only lose if you quit. Wow. Okay.
So I kind of every aspect of my life, am I really just throw the towel? Or do I need to change strategy?
Yeah.
Do I need to do some other things? And if it's not working, how do I better myself? But in terms of, navigating social, finance, spiritual, it's been up. It's like what do you call it? Like the chart. The stock market.
Yeah.
Go deep.
Yeah.
Eventually comes up and then goes down again. But eventually, when you look at the whole trend for maybe 3 months or 4 months, 1 year, you then find, I did well. So that's I have been, things have been deep, but they come back again. There are times that you wow, the things to change, man.
Yeah.
And that's the deep ones.
That's the deep ones, man.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, I know, like, men, we don't kind of bring it out there. You know, I was also watching this rapper. He said they went to a party and everybody was celebrating. And in 3 days, his guy, who was also celebrating them, 3 days later, you know, he jumped in front of the train.
Damn.
And I'm like, oh, sugar.
And the thing is, and not to cut you, but you hear so many stories like that. You hear stories of really successful people, but working in really intense industries like banking.
Yeah.
And you know, then you hear, oh, this person has committed suicide. And that old adage of, can you equate wealth and money with happiness? The two things don't necessarily have a positive correlation. So you can have all that wealth and money, but then someone can still commit suicide. So obviously that didn't bring the happiness.
The happiness.
Yeah. And it does go back to, I mean, it's deeper, isn't it? Because the human mind is a deep thing, but so is the capacity for a human being to explore the spiritual realm. Because I believe that everything is built off the platform of what we don't see.
We don't see.
Yeah. And there's a lot we don't see, and this is what dictates what we do see. So that young man or that person, that man who committed suicide, on the outside he might have been very happy. All of the stuff we didn't see was going on, you know, in the background, which, you know, unfortunately for him and, you know, those others led to suicide. You know, so I do see a lot of my own contentment, happiness, well-being comes from a spiritual basis. And I feel that when my spiritual health is good, I'm at my best. I'm at my best, and I'm not always at my best. So there's warfare going on all the time. And you know, it's deep, bro. It's deep, man. But I mean, one thing I will say is that for me, I know this as a certainty. There's anything that I know is prayer is key. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And there's been periods in my life where I haven't been as consistent with prayer for whatever reason, because there's warfare. There's warfare going on. And the warfare can take you off the track of what you should be doing regarding prayer. But when I become conscious of that, and I sit back and I say, well, I haven't prayed in a while, or I haven't given myself over to prayer for a while. I might just be saying, you know, this got there and that's got this, but when have I sat down and had that season of prayer? And you have that conversation with yourself and you start to realize that, well, what's stopping me? That's the warfare. That's the warfare.
Exactly.
But when I'm in that season of prayer, nothing can stop me. Nothing. And that's when I feel like at my healthiest, you know, psychologically, because that leads me to be want to spend more time being physically conscious as well. So I go to the gym and I start eating well, but all comes from a place of prayer. But that's for me. There's other people that is different, but for me, I can sit down with anybody and recount my life story of prayer, regarding prayer.
Saying that, you know, sometime or some people, like, you are in the industry of fitness. Now, I see some people in terms of maybe their routine
Yeah.
Or maybe they miss their routine.
Mm-hmm.
3 days, 2 days, 1 week.
Yeah.
And they kind of like, oh, don't bother, man. Don't bother.
Yeah.
And that comes back to what you've been saying in terms of prayer.
Yes.
It's like that, where, okay, because you've missed your prayer sessions or routine, doesn't make you a person that is bad.
No, of course not.
It's communication.
Yeah.
You have to then pick it up again.
For sure.
You understand? Yeah. But people always like, oh, man, because I'm always failing on this, let me quit. Mm-hmm. And you see people, you see them 6 months, fit, sharp, everything. Yeah. But all of a sudden, you're like, okay, is something wrong? Mm-hmm. Is something wrong?
Yeah.
And sometimes, they might not even want to explain it.
Yeah.
Except by themselves. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, probably there's something going on in their mind, in their, physical or financial situation. But they're not going to share it with people. But at the end of the day, we just need to pick up ourselves where we were.
Yeah.
And come back to it.
Yeah. It's easier said than done. And there's a lot of the time where there are some people that are motivated by a particular thing. So, some people, they spend their life and times in the gym and they want to become as physically fit as possible. Yeah. And they're obsessed by it. It becomes an obsession, which too can be unhealthy. And there's also some people that, something could happen for them and it takes them off that path. So it could be something that's happening else in their personal life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could be like maybe a couple, or a man or a woman that have gone through, unfortunately, maybe a separation or a divorce or some kind of illness or whatever. So there are different factors, and I think all human beings are susceptible to that. Mm-hmm. We're all affected in different ways, aren't we?
Yeah.
So it's just once we begin to understand who we are as individuals and assess what motivates us, I think then we become, stronger people, more resilient people. A lot of us just go into something and we don't give it any conscientious thought. We just do. But I think that period of reflection is important to grow. Yeah. It's important for us to understand who we are, what motivates us. So think to myself, well, why do I go to the gym? Well, I like to feel good. That's number one. I like the exertion of energy. I think it goes back to our ancestors. Our ancestors may have been very active people. Do you know what I mean? I think we were created to be active. But society, there's warfare in society in terms of we are, for lack of a better phrase, we're programmed into certain idiosyncrasies. Like we're programmed into wanting to watch TV or be on our computer or be on our phone all day, or we're programmed to, eat food the fast way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's because food is there, it's available for us. We can go to this restaurant, that restaurant, order this, order that. Yeah. So what does it encourage? It encourages you to be more reliant on the system as opposed to establishing your own freedom within the system. You know what I mean? So it's I think that's an interesting a conversation to have about freedom. Yeah. What does freedom really mean? Does freedom mean a choice of what society gives you? Or is freedom really about assessing what's going on and choosing for yourself? Actually choosing a lifestyle for yourself, knowing why you eat this food, and I want to eat this food, knowing why you want to go to the gym or want to work out or run or boxing or play football or whatever. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
The season has has its own mind, the season, you know, and I know as a Liverpool fan, what really is the problem with your club?
I think you can look at it in two ways. You can look at it in terms of the football that's being played on the pitch, or you can take a step back and look at the wider context. And I can also relate it back to boom and bust, because you know, teams, you know, clubs are also you know, they're subject to that rule in some regards. So take, for instance, Liverpool over the last 3, 4, 5 seasons, they've done relatively well. So they won the league, they won the Champions League, they've been to I think they've been to 3 Champions Leagues final. They won one of the Champions League. They won They won the league, they won the FA Cup, they won the League Cup, they won the Club World Cup, they won the Super Cup. But Man City have dominated the domestic cups. Why have Man City dominated domestic cups? Because their backers have an almost endless source of money. And so whereas they may not be paying 100 million, well, they bought Jack Grealish for 100 million. And that was them flexing their financial muscle. But if you look through their team over the last 8 years, or let's say since Pep Guardiola got there, or just before Pep Guardiola got there, they've got world-class players all throughout their team. Yeah. Sometimes they have, and this is not me complaining, this is just me telling how I feel it is. You look through their team, their squad, they can put 2 top quality squads of 11 out on the pitch. Yeah. They have a quality player for each position. Yeah. So the other teams have to sit down, and they would have sat down, said, well, how do we compete with this? Do you understand what I'm saying? How do we compete with that? And Liverpool, to their credit, have been able to push City really close.
Yeah, definitely.
More than anything else, because of the manager. The manager's philosophy, he's brought in his ways, his team, he's brought in his expertise from his field. You know, he's done a lot of kind of football psychology. He's done a lot on nutrition. He understands the mentality he wants his players to have, and he's been able to replicate that on the pitch. But what he's not able to replicate is, man for man, the amount of talent that Man City have at their exposure, because that takes financial power. Yeah. And the owners of Liverpool just don't have that. So that's the wider picture. If we look at Liverpool this season, one of the big issues for me is that you haven't improved as much as you should have improved, if at all. Because you selling a player like Sadio Mane, who'd been there for maybe 6 years. Yeah. He's one of your best players, if not your best player. Yes, yeah. Not only that, he's in his peak at the moment. He'll be in his peak for another 2-3 years, because footballers are built differently in this stage. They have sports You have nutritionists, they have chefs, they have physios that work with their body, keeping them in prime condition. And he's going to spend the rest of his prime career, it looks, at Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
You getting rid of a player like that, you should have replaced. Now, people will say, well, we bought Nunes. But Nunes is still raw. He still has a lot to learn and a lot to develop.
Yeah.
If anything,
especially the Premier League.
Especially the Premier League. If anything, if you want to compete with the likes of Manchester City, you have to retain players like Mo Salah, which Liverpool have, and Sadio Mane, and you have to add. Do you know what I mean? There comes a point where you can't do this, we sell to buy, because ultimately it will catch up with you at some point. And I think we're seeing a manifestation of that on the pitch now.
I just know that at this moment, the clubs that I support, Chelsea, and I started supporting Crystal Palace because my guy's there anyway.
Who's your guy?
Vieira.
Oh, Vieira, yeah.
But Chelsea, I did we did a podcast.
Yeah.
Few,
I listened to that podcast. Yeah, I did listen. Yeah.
So my prediction was that we should be arriving between 5 sport or whatever, Champions League.
Yeah.
But this moment, with all the changes happening in Chelsea, definitely not. Even Champions League sport, we're thinking. Just.
You see,
because everything is in a, like, things are just dum. No, it shouldn't. I know when you are the owner or you are the one controlling the money.
Yeah.
Others don't have a say. But at the same time, in business, I know that they say when you get into a place or you into a management, you leave things at the way it is to study at least 6 months, 5 months. For the changes to start.
Yeah.
But my guys now, they just like done. And they even talking about football, north and south. I'm like, bro, in United Kingdom.
Yeah.
America does.
Yeah.
And that's why, they focus on soccer. That's what they call it,
Yeah.
But this is the home of football. You understand? And the changes that are coming, it's been drastic. Even the players are like, where?
Yeah.
So, and that's why I'm kind of still putting it there, like,
sure.
Yes, no Champions League. I don't even think we're going to go to a Champions League next season.
I think that, with all respect, it's too early to say that. That's what I think. But you probably watch the team a lot closer than I do. But from what I see, I would say it's too early to say that, because what we have at the moment is a Man City team that we know would definitely be up there. They've just got one of the best, if not the best coach in the world in Pep Guardiola. And what I mean by the best coach, they got it looks like they have the best striker in the world at the moment in Erling Haaland, because he's unrelenting. His desire, his hunger on the pitch is just something. He wants to be involved. He wants to score goals. Obviously, it's obvious for a striker that wants to score goals, but you can see that this guy is ticking a bit differently, and he's an athlete. His physique is
exactly
so
ready to run.
He's ready to bulldoze you for that goal. He's ready to do anything for a goal, and not only that, he's got great technique. Because some of the goals that he's scoring, is incredible athleticism and technique. I can, we'll see where he goes, but it's looking like he's gonna break some records this season in terms of goal scoring. Yeah. And he's playing in one of the best footballing sides we've ever seen. Now, we've seen loads of sides. We've seen the Barcelona team under Pep. We've seen various Real Madrid teams in the past. This Liverpool Klopp team is an outstanding team as well. Yeah. But this Man City team, he's got them, and he consistently has his teams playing a style of football where it's about generating chances, chance after chance after chance. This is a team, when they get the ball, they're coming to your final third.
Yeah.
And what they intend to do in your final third is make an assist for a player, make a chance to score a goal. And it's other teams try to do that, but they can't. Mm-hmm. And the reason why City can do that is because they have probably the best coach. As I said, the best coach in the world. He has an understanding of the diameters of the football pitch and how to move that ball in a way to get the opposition out of the way, and you're
accumulating points now.
Yeah.
They can still enter the top 4, definitely.
For sure.
Definitely. The way, and again, because of all the things that have been happening in the league now, I think even for this space, they are coming back to, they don't need to do much in terms of like playing every 2 games in 1 week or thereabout, And again, it's a World Cup year, so they're going to be having breaks. Again, I think by 26 or 25 thereabout, they'll be playing European League. Yeah. So that's another break.
Yeah.
You understand? So they'll I think Arsenal would definitely cope to go that deep. They'll cope. They'll hope.
For me, the jury is still out on Arsenal, but we'll see. Then you got Spurs, who look good. Spurs look like they can. They're pragmatic. Conte has them playing in different ways. So sometimes they listen. Be honest. They set up a defensive block sometimes, and they can defend. And you got players like Harry Kane, he's just one of the best finishers I've seen. And to me, Harry Kane is the real deal in terms of finishing, because he finishes on his left or right. He can head the ball, but he hits the ball so cleanly and quickly that he oftentimes doesn't give the keeper a chance. So to me, the best strikers have all different kind of characteristics, but one of the characteristics of Kane is that his timing of when he strikes that ball is top notch. You don't know when he's gonna strike it. There's other strikers in the past that have, different, characteristics. Like if you remember Aguero, of course you remember Aguero for Man City. He was he was something else. He was just a very busy technical striker, could control it, run with it, and just shoot. He was an exceptional Premier League striker, a great finisher. We're looking at Harden now. We're saying Harden is a great finisher. You going back to players like Shearer also was a great finisher as well. There was players who were great players more so than they were finishers. But if you're talking about a finisher, Harry Kane is one of the best finishers I've seen. So Tottenham looking like they can maintain top 4. And I think you have to look at Liverpool have had a slow start, so it really kind of depends. Liverpool's strength is when they can put a run of games together. So like if they win 5 in a row, then you're in trouble, because then they start to have that self-belief. And they go into every game, believing they're going to win this game, and they win. At the moment, it's not clicking for them because they're making very hard work of the result. So when they do get a win, they're scoring in the last minute. They've done, I think, 2 or 3 times this season, scoring in the last minute to get the win. So if Liverpool can get it together and start scoring earlier within games, not conceding the first goal, and winning games by 3-1, 3-0 like they were doing in seasons past, and they can put a run together, then they will be up there too. But for me at the moment, it just seems like City are the team to catch as usual.
Yeah. I think definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Chris.
Yes, sir.
The unspoken guest today.
Yeah.
What in all this situations going on?
Yeah.
Society and everything.
Yeah.
What are the unspoken moments and unspoken things that we should watch out?
Interesting. I think that we have information, and this has always been the case. Fired at us from different angles. From the news, you got social media now, you got the newspapers, you have conversations with your friends. What you find is that even a lot of the conversations you have with your friends are based on what they've been influenced by. So we need to be conscious.
So
it's all true, isn't it?
Yeah, that's so true.
So it's a case of being just actively conscious. None of us are perfect. There's not one man walking or woman walking the earth that is perfect or knows everything. But I think that we can all be conscious of that fact. And when we're conscious of the fact that we're all potentially can have errors every day, none of us are perfect, none of us know everything. So even that person on the news recounting information and telling you about certain things, they're not perfect either. In every industry. And once we come to that realization and we think about that a bit, then I think that we can start to find solutions, the real solutions to the issues that we have. So unspoken, it means different things for different people. You get what I mean? My unspoken thing is that people may not see it, but the key for me, as I said at the beginning, is prayer. So if I'm ever happy, if I'm ever successful, if I'm ever, driving a nice car, I've got, a nice house or a nice family life, it comes from my relationship with God. It comes from my relationship with Christ. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? And that's the unspoken thing that should be more spoken about. But that is what, for me, holds everything together for me in this life. So my legacy in this life should be someone who acknowledges the existence of God, acknowledges the existence of Christ, and accepted Christ, accepted God, accepted God's words, and someone who hopefully put all those things together and was prayerful, because that's the key, is prayer.
Yeah. Nice one, Chris. Yes, viewers, thank you so much for gracing our platform. Click the link down there below, subscribe and share. Our guest, Chris, has been a helper, a developer, a motivator into my life and my friends as well, and for this platform, most especially the help and advice that have made me to be buoyant about Unspoken platform. Unspoken answers to unspoken questions. Yes, like I said, always be unspoken, but be loud. Thank you for viewing. Bless. Thank you, man.
Thanks, man. That's good.